Hey YouTube, today I'm going to do another deck profile on Aquaforce. So this one's going to feature the new Blue Flight Martial Dragon, mythril-core dragon, stride deck based off of Blue Flight Dragon, Transcore Dragon. So I think I'm the only one on YouTube that's going to post a deck on this, or deck profile on this guy. I think I was like one of the first to do the Tetraburst Legion deck. So people are probably wondering, are probably really interested in what is going to be in this deck. So what I ended up doing was revisiting all 5 of my other Aquaforce decks. So Thavas, Blue Wave, Blue Storm, Maelstrom, Blue Storm Legion, and Ripples, and looked at where would this guy fit in, would he make the deck better or worse. So in all cases, Transcore either made the deck worse, less consistent, or slowed it down, or, you know, kind of like messed up some of the cards that needed to have like a specific Vanguard name, like Thavas or Blue Wave or Maelstrom. So those didn't really work with him too well. So it ended up being, I ended up putting him in my Blue Storm Legion deck, because I did feel like that one was like the weakest link out of all 5 of them, so he wouldn't impact them that much. So in playtesting him, he hasn't really made them any better. But he hasn't really made them any worse either. So he's made them probably a little bit more slow. But anyway, this is what I have. So it's really just for Transcore Dragon. Transcore Dragon is the Aquaforce breakride, the first breakride they got. They actually have quite a few now. They actually have 3. So they have him, they have the Blue Storm Demetrius one, and then they've got the Maelstrom one that came out in Incessant Waves. So one thing I like about Transcore is that he doesn't have to counterblast. He doesn't have to do anything weird. When you break right, he gains 10k. His Vanguard gains 10k straight up. And the skill where when he attacks a Vanguard, he the opponent has to discard a card from the hand basically. So he's kind of like a Nubatama skill. That's the way I always remember him. And if they do not discard one, they cannot call to Guardian Circle, and the Vanguard gains, your Vanguard gains a critical. So, pretty scary card, especially with Tetra Drive. Unfortunately, Tetra Drive is just in a whole different league now with Anger Boil and Tetra Boil. So, I didn't really want to mess that deck up. So basically what I ended up doing was combining him. I tested him out with all the different legions that Aquaforce have, and it turns out the best combination was actually the Legion, where it doesn't actually care if it gets to 4th battle or not. So I tested him out with Tetraburst first, because I really was excited to see, hey, does he work with Tetraburst? Because it will be like old times, where like this dragon and that dragon are teaming up again. Unfortunately, it didn't really work, mainly because Starless, the Legion mate, is required to run him, and so he takes up space. So striding, he does nothing, and also, yeah, that's the main reason why. So I stuck with, then I tried Blue Storm General Michael, and the thing that I didn't like about him was Milos had resist, which is good, but Milos was a vanilla 9k that did nothing when you're striding and when you're just sitting on this guy and just swing at the Vanguard early game. So I didn't like that. So that left Zaharias, and honestly I feel like Zaharias is the best one, because first of all, he doesn't care if he gets 3rd battle or 4th battle or whatever. His skill is like a mini Lambros skill. It's very, very rare, so you'll almost never see the skill happen, especially because of stride format. And yeah, but the main star was Iannis. Iannis makes this deck super good in the early game when he attacks 3rd as a rear guard if it hits, and oh man, my opponents hate this card so much. So Iannis is just really, really good. You gotta run 4 of both, because you want to drive check into either one when you're in Legion, so you can stand 2 units to give 2 other units, or those units 5k. So like I said, mini Lambros, really good, but very rare skill. Next, for Amphibian Dragon. So he's the new Transcore support, and the nice thing about him is he, in addition to drawing a lot of the opponent's aggro away from the Vanguard, he can potentially fix grade stuck issues, and he is like a direct counter almost to Ripple rushing and those type of decks. So I wasn't gonna run him with Ripple because other than the mirror match, it would not really work, and also you want as many Ripples as you want in that deck. So Amphibian Dragon and Transcore would just be kind of like out of place there. So 4 of him, really good ability to get you out of grade lock issues without having a G assist. And a couple of weird games where I actually had to use that skill to superior ride. Now my opponents quickly learned how to counter this guy, which is basically focus fire him down. And people were saying run Wheel Assault to protect him. I'm not gonna waste a counterblast with Wheel Assault. If they're gonna kill him and I can't guard him, then he just dies. But whatever. So next, I'm running 4 Blue Storm Marine General Spyros. So this should be Tile Assault, but Tile Assault, I only have 4 copies of that card. It's hard to get now. It's in my Tetra Drive Anger Boil deck, so I'm not gonna take him out. Spyros, thing I like about him, everything except for Transcore and Amphibian, and a couple of grade 1s and grade 0s are not Blue Storm, but usually you only use his effect like twice a game, I would say. And the nice thing about him is he doesn't lose 5k like Milos and Tile Assault. So I didn't want to run Couple Dagger Sailor because I feel like Couple Dagger Sailor is good in Michael builds, not so much in Zaharias. In Zaharias, it's better to just run self-restanding rear guards like Spyros and Tile Assault, so that's why I stuck with him. And like I said, I like how he doesn't lose the 5k, and he's not GB restricted like Magnum Assault. So 12 grade 2s because the grade 2s are kind of heavy. Next, 4 Blue Storm Battle Princess Electra. Blue Storms do have the other perfect guard that they got. Now, you can't use it in here though, because Transcore Dragon is not a Blue Storm, so that guy would be dead space unless you had Zaharias. Or at least you couldn't use his skill. So 4 Electra, she's a Blue Storm. Next, 4 Stasia. She's not a Blue Storm, but she is just way too good to not run. So 3 of her. Helps you get 4th battle on stride turns. Which is the only time really that you need 4th battle. And then 3 Penguin Soldier of Blue Storm Fleet. He helps you search your copies of this guy. Mainly so that you can stride. That's really the only reason. Or you can potentially also break ride. So really good card with Blue Storm. But the only thing to keep in mind is the Vanguard must be Blue Storm. So you can't really break ride with this. But you can search him out for stride fodder, which is the main thing I use him for. And next, I was running Wheel Assault, but I did end up running into issues with this deck where oftentimes the opponent would focus fire my rear guards, so I would kind of have a hard time. I wouldn't really be able to use Wheel Assault that much. And on top of that, the deck doesn't run 12Ks or things that can typically hit the Vanguard without a booster. So Wheel Assault can't really exchange positions with rear guards that much where it can make that optimal. Besides, Wheel Assault and Stasia don't really mix that well either. So I went with Krista Elizabeth. Main reason is because she's a Blue Storm, unlike Wheel Assault. So she does improve consistency for Spyro. And she also does a special counterblast Blue Storm during when an attack hits a Vanguard during the battle that she boosted, and you can call a unit from your hand. So she can potentially add another attack in, so you can like call down some other thing. Like if you have a GB1, you can call down a Stasia that you drove check, and then swing at a rear guard or something from the back row. So things like that. For the trigger lineup, 4 Malika, because she makes Spyro really, really good. He'll swing to the Vanguard at 12, then he'll stand up for CB1, then he can swing again, and he's still 12, so things like that. Crazy plays with him mainly is the reason why I'm running this. Same thing with Yanis. She can make Yanis poke at the Vanguard on 3rd battle with no booster. or whatever, or with a booster. And then just everything else is all Blue Storm. So 8 Blue Storm crits and 4 of the new Blue Storm heal. And then I am running Officer Cadet Andre, mainly to help the Lambros turn get the 4th battle it needs. This combined with Malika on an Aeanis is really good. And even a Spyro is really good. So, yeah. For the Stride deck, it's fairly straightforward. So if you're sitting on Transcore Dragon, you typically want to stride into a Blue Flight Martial Dragon. So what it does is when he hits on 3rd battle or more, if you have a heart with Transcore, the opponent has to discard a card. If the opponent doesn't discard a card, you draw 2 cards. So they'll almost always discard a card if they let this hit. So I am running 2 of this. 2 is enough because it's honestly not all that great in late game. You need to stride into better things. And also, if you rode Zaharias, you can't use this at all. So, next to Lambros is just really good. Lambros is the reason why we run Andre as the starter, as well as the 3 Stasias and all the stuff to hit 4th battle, because typically on the turns where you're not striding, where you're either breakride and then Legion, or you're just playing as the Legion, or you're just playing as him and you have no other way to superior breakride with Amphibian Dragon, you don't really need 4th battle, which is what I like about these 2. I wanted a Vanguard that didn't need 4th battle. Transcore doesn't need 4th battle, he doesn't need 4th battle, so yeah. So Lambros is the only thing really that needs 4th battle. The other thing that does kind of need 4th battle too, although it is technically optional, is the boss. So if you've got 4 Lambros, you're going to run the 4 Lambros. But for me, I just have 2 and 2, so I've got the 2 Mithrils, this and this, so that's a total of 1, 2, 3, 4 strides. And then the Aristotle and the Tidal Bore. Tidal Bore is just a good fallback. Aristotle is good if you're up against someone who you need to attack something. So nice thing about all these guys are all wave 3. And his GB3 skill is wave 4 for a rearguard, and then Lambros is wave 4. So making him the hardest one to use, but he's probably the best. So that was the Transcore deck. Basically, the one thing I wanted to explain, because people are probably going to wonder like how it works if they don't know. This guy, like I said earlier, he can search out Transcore if he's 3rd. So basically, he doesn't even have to attack. So you can do this as early as the 2nd where you're sitting on grade 2. So usually, my field might look something like this, where let's just put like a random one of these or something. So you might have a field that looks kind of like this. So it depends. If you know the opponent is going to try to block, you're usually going to need a booster behind one of these 2. So if it's behind him, then you're going to swing 3rd with this. So you would do like 1, 2, and 3. And then the thing is, on his third wave, 30 or more, when he attacks, you search the deck for Transcore and you bind it face up. And then it's their turn, and mainly all you gotta do is protect him. Don't let him die. Like, I would rather just intercept with him. If they swing 9 to him, or whatever. Because the main reason why is because you can, at the beginning of your ride phase, if you have a grade 2 or greater Vanguard, you can counterblast 1 to superior ride him from the bind zone. So that can do a lot of interesting plays. Like, he can potentially superior break ride. Like, let's say you ride this, you're at 4, then that's the beginning of the ride phase, so then you can just proceed to ride that, break ride on that. Or you can, like, if you use his effect to bind another one, Like, let's say you bound another one, you can use it to breakride like that. Like if you bound the second one, you're already at grade 3. You can superior breakride. This goes up to 21. When it swings, it'll be 23 plus this. So, you know, and he has this effect. So it's another one of those unique style of cards from Fire's collection that helps improve the breakride strategy, or makes a new window of opportunity to use it. But anyway, guys, that's basically it. In terms of playtesting, the Transcore deck is really not all that good. I feel like the Boss, Maelstrom, and Blue Waves are better. But it's a fun deck. Maybe Transcore will get more support in the future. But that's it for now. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. And as always, stay tuned for more Cardfight videos in the future. And I'll see you guys next time. Thanks.